So today we're going to look at the TA practice site. So again, the easiest way to get there is through the Lorraine City School District website. Choose Staff. Scroll down to State Testing Portal. We're going to choose Teacher Test Administrator. And we're going to go to the TA practice site. Again, you're going to want to log in. And this is going to be a simulation of what the actual test would look like from the teacher perspective. Now, the one change that they made this year is that the students will be able to go to their practice site and actually log in using their actual student ID number and their first name. This will benefit you as you do your side, then, because you will see your students' names actually populate on the screen instead of just a number. So you can kind of get a feel for where everyone is. Also, when the student is using the practice site, they are actually answering the test questions, and it will grade it for them immediately. Unfortunately, you won't get that feedback. You can walk around the room and look and see how the students are responding to questions, but this is more of a practice piece for you to see what the actual testing day situation will look like. So when you log in and you get to this actual site, you'll notice that you have all the different testing areas. If you hit the plus button, you will see all the different English language arts classes or tests, the different math ones, as well as science and social studies. What I do notice on here is they took away the check mark box for the English language arts. Well, actually for all of them. There used to be a check mark box, and if you hit it, then you would actually check mark all of the tests. And that was the one thing we tried to discourage last year. So here, you're just going to want to either click grade 3, and if you do that, you'll notice you have 3 different tests that'll populate. This is for the practice piece for the students. If you don't, and you want to just actually choose which test you want the students to take today, then you would just check mark one box. They've released the Spring 17 items. They have a practice test there. They have the Spring 16 released items, and then they just have a regular practice test. I will show you on a different screen where you can access the actual answers to all of these. So this is the one that I'm going to choose, and then I'm going to hit Start Practice Session. Now, I'm not going to be able to show you everything because I don't have a student logged in on another screen for that person to populate. But this would be the code that you're going to want to either write up on the board or show your screen up on the wall for the students to see. This is their code that they need to use as part of their login. As students log in, you'll want to hit the refresh button, and you can see here it's kind of grayed out, but this is the approval tab that you're going to want to click on. If you have a student that comes in late, or you're doing makeups and you are testing one subject and you need to add another test, you just hit select test, and let's say I have a student coming in that I want them to do the 3rd grade math test. I'm just going to click on that one test, add it. I'm going to click OK. And so on the student side, they'll be able to see both the reading test as well as the math test. And they can choose whichever one you want them to choose. And that's about it. Once everybody's done and they have ended their test, they've submitted them, then all you do is click log out. One thing to remember is that after everybody's done and you forget to actually log out, it will automatically shut down after an activity for, I don't know how many minutes, 30 minutes maybe, and you will not lose anybody's test results on the day of testing. If anyone was left in a paused status at midnight, all tests will be submitted. And, and that's all that you do for the actual TA practice site. And if we go into resources, you'll notice, let's say if I click on English, went to student practice, resources, and I chose the English language arts. Notice here are all of the scoring guides and practice tests. So in these scoring guides, they will actually tell you how to answer these questions or how they got scored as a 1 or a 2. There's sample questions. Scroll down to where the test starts. So here's 1. There's a question. Here's the goal, the guidelines, and notice here's the rationale for why you would choose each of those questions. So maybe this is something you want to go over with the students individually. And you can see that they have this for every one of the different subject areas, for math, science, as well as social studies. If you click on the student practice resources, there are a few other options here that you might want to go over with the students. The scientific calculator, the reference sheets, how they can actually sign in and log in using the testing portal. You can show them the different tools that they have available to them on the actual test. There's some tutorials in English and Spanish on the extended response, constructed response, and so forth. So you have the option to scroll through these and see what are some tools that are available to you to share with the students. Now up here, notice under users, if you go to students and families, here's the student practice site. And they can continue as a guest, or they can actually, I can't do it on my screen here, but they could actually, when they go through the testing portal that's on the iPad or the laptop that you would be using, they can actually go in and type their first name, student ID, and the session ID that you provide to them off of your practice site. And then they would sign in. And again, these resources here are the same resources that you had available to you on your screen as well. So on actual test day, this tab here that's grayed out will become live. And once that window opens, this is where you will go to administer the test. And it looks exactly like the TA practice site. So again, take the time to get a feel for what that looks like. And again, any questions, feel free to contact me.